Good morning. It's Sunday, June 2, and we're back at the lake, and it's a beautiful spring day, a little bit fresh. Certainly out here with a sweater on, but it's very pleasant. These are plum blossoms, wild plums. The scent is very faint, but quite pleasant. I'm just going to hang out here for a second and see if the hummingbirds come back. They were here mere moments ago. No, we'll wander on for now. Oops, bump. And now I shall indeed go back, because you may have heard them. We will go back. Sometimes they get along, sometimes they don't. Can't quite tell if this is in focus. I'm hoping it is. There's usually 3 or 4 hummingbirds, so a couple of pairs. And typically they fight, and each one dissuades the other from feeding at the hummingbird feeder. This year's been a bit different. They're more cooperative, or perhaps we're seeing the same, or a single pair is feeding at the same time. So we'll go back over to here where I was on the bird bath here now. We'll just stop here for a second. So of course it always works like this. Whenever you want to focus on something, it's the other part that's active. Okay. It's gardening by walking around, so let's do that. We'll walk to the front to take a peek. There are a lot of birds around. You can probably hear them in the background. I saw some squirrels here yesterday. Squirrels are quite unusual out here. We get gophers and chipmunks, but the squirrel is quite unusual. Oh, let's go right here for a second. There were several earlier this morning when we were looking out the window at the front. Go down the front, closer to the front. Oh, here we go. so I can find them. Pelicans don't necessarily sit on the ground, sit on the shore in front of our property. They tend to be on some rocks to our left, a little bit to the west. And we do get seagulls on the rocks, as you'll see when I scan back here. There we are. It's unusual for them to be on the rocks during this part of the day. Usually they come down when the weather is about to turn bad. Over here, hardly should have gars in. Oh, there's one flying above me. I was hoping to catch some other birds. Oh, let me come back to these. Okay. I'm going to go back this way now. I'll show you what I've been working on today. Oh, but here's a better view of the plum blossoms. We've had 2 good years of plums, and that's really nice to see. Actually, 2 good years of plums and choke cherries and pin cherries. So we'll see what this year brings. Now I'm going to work my way to the back and show you what I've been up to yesterday. This is new. It's got its back to us. He's got his back to us now, and you'll see what it is in just a moment. We move this to be in a more appropriate spot, and I'll say disguises the box on which it's sitting. This is a connector box, a power that contains the power cable and connected to outdoor lights, which now are finally finished and in here. So I run the cables properly under the ground. It was actually quite a nice task to do yesterday. And they run up both sides of the path to the top. Here, let's go up there. Is telling people and showing people, and showing is always the better way. So they run back up to here. So each side has 8 lights. Each side of the path has 8 lights. 1, 2, 3, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and on this now the right side of the path 8. And there are also 8 up the other side. Up this side. Now because of cable lengths and connectors, I still need to connect the last 3. There's one in here that shines on this rock. That needs to be connected. There's one here at the top of the path that needs to be connected. And then I have to go underneath the steps to this final one that will shine up. Right now it's onto this tree. That may change, it may go onto the rock. It would be this tree here. So since I need one more connector, that will be next week when that gets done. So here's the path down again. It's lit very well. It's actually quite bright, brighter than I would have anticipated. There we go. These stairs work very, very well. So, one thing we discovered yesterday, or I realized yesterday, was we're lakefront, and it's quite fresh out here, even today, right now. But where this chair is sitting, with its back to the lake, and then this out of the wind, it's reasonably cool in here. Let's have a seat. So the idea is if we got a park bench, we could sit here, and but here is towards the sun. The sun is directly above the kitchen window here. And you could sit here, and it's quite a pleasant spot. So I'm going to clear out this area a little bit, rake it up, clean out some of the debris. There's a couple of branches that they're encroaching on property here. This stick right here. That one right here needs to go, and the one behind it. Oh, here comes the sun now. And this is quite a pleasant spot to sit. I have to level it, but it's doing quite well. It's quite a nice spot, and it increases the visibility of the yard, or gets you in another spot that typically you wouldn't sit, and gets you seeing things as to what this really wonderful property is like. Oh, I have to show you some of the ferns I planted last fall. Oh, they're just starting to come out, so they are in here somewhere. Oh, there we go. I have to watch where I step on me. Yes. Here you are. Le voila. One of the ferns from last year. Now when I say one, I don't remember where they're all planted. I guess this is why I should use stakes all the time to figure out where things are. So there's one. There's actually in here, there's 20. I'm sure there's 20 of them I planted last year. And as I here's one. So hard to pick out things up higher. It's somewhere around in here. Yes. I think it's about here. It's hard to see in the lens. There it is. I believe that's it. So we'll see how they grow over the next couple of weeks. So ideally this area fills with ferns. And I've left all this debris. It's a bit messy. I'm not sure how much of it I remove. I don't mind the mess, actually. It makes it very rustic. I have some, these were originally on a cottage. But when we had the renovations, the addition put on in 2005, they didn't go back up. They went on the ground. And they were in pretty poor shape before, and now they really have rotted. So I'm going to take a measurement as to how wide the boards are and rebuild them and to put back on the cottage and pry off this emblem and attach that to the new ones. So over here as well, there are ferns on this side. Let's go back up and see if I can find some ferns. No, that's one, but that's not one of the ones I planted this year. Ah, yes, here we go. Here we go. There he is. And there are several through here, so I'm quite looking forward to seeing these come out, because they are actually fairly tall. They'll be 2 feet tall, and they will help to cover this ground and soften it. And you can see oops, maybe back up, pardon me, wrong way. And over here is the floodlight, one of the 8 lights on this side of the path that shines upward onto this rock. This is one of the bigger rocks in this whole area. Okay, last thing over here is I'm finally in a position as to how I'm going to make the path to the tool shed. So these 3 rocks, 1, 2, 3, are going to be moved. And then this gets filled in with chipper shredder. I need to move this rock. It's going to get rolled. Probably this rock and the rock to the right need to be moved slightly, but certainly this rock needs to be moved to the right and behind, probably in there. And then I can go straight through, and actually we will go straight through right now. So here we go along the path as it's coming. Here we go, here we go, here we go, here we go. This rock gets moved. This one right here gets moved. And then we squeeze our way through here, these 2. And then I have to remove this rock. That's probably going to be the interesting one. And so it's a little bit, as you can see, it's a bit short between here and here. And then the next spot, if I get chipper shredder, I should be able to fill this part in here between these 2. Oh, here are the shiitake mushroom logs. This is the 3rd year. It's about time they actually delivered some shiitake mushrooms. So that's where the path is going to go, to the tool shed, which is right here. I have left open the path to the neighbors. which that access works very well from time to time that we need to use. Then we come back around to the front. So there's Virginia creeper on the property, so as it grows into places where it shouldn't be, like right here, I tend to pull it out so it doesn't, because it will smother everything. This is the old access to the property. This was actually at one time the main road. Coming from the east. And this being lot 1, it ended, there's a dead tree just across the property, just almost at the end of our property. And that's where the road ended. Because we were lot 1. And so I'll just come back here. And the actual where people park cars for this property was in here. There was a gate. And if I scrounge around in the ground, there actually you can see the remains of the gate posts. Let's go through this way. There we go. Oh, I've had this much too much on. That's a shame. So here we are. Looks like we'll have lots of plums again this year. Look at this tree in particular. This is the original plum tree, I'm sure. Every year, little parts of it die off. But it's been very productive over the years. There's the hummingbird feeder. Oops. So, that's a tour for Sunday, June 2. And with the birds in the background, I think I'll call it the end of this video and start to work on clearing out the area for where the park bench will go. Greetings and salutations. Oh, behind me. Those are hummingbirds that are zooming all around me here. What have I done here? Where am I? I must be in the middle of the nest. Must be close. The nest must be close. So, with that, there again, greetings and salutations.